Welcome back, focused learners. Okay, today on The Explainer, we're unpacking a really massive shift in the tech landscape. We're diving deep into Thorsten Meyer's May 2026 analysis of the AI skills marketplace. 6 months ago, Meyer predicted that a completely new marketplace economy was going to form around AI agent skills. And honestly, a lot of people thought it was just theory at the time, kind of pie in the sky stuff. But today, we actually have the hard empirical data to prove he was right. And what's super fascinating is that the reality is way messier and frankly, a whole lot more interesting than anyone anticipated. So if you're building tools, selling software, or just trying to figure out where the enterprise market is heading over the next couple of years, you absolutely need to understand this data.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. Expectation versus reality. 2. Platform wars and fragmentation. 3. The winner takes most economy. 4. The hidden MCP ecosystem. And 5. Your strategic playbook. Basically, we're going to unpack the messy, unanticipated fallout of this new ecosystem and get you some highly actionable strategies for the current quarter. All right, let's dive straight into Section 1, Expectation versus Reality. The marketplace has arrived. The marketplace we're talking about, it isn't some abstract future theory anymore. It is here today, and the numbers are honestly staggering. Right now, there are over 4,200 active, verified skills deployed on the market. Think about that for a second. That's over 4,000 unique capabilities built, verified, and completely ready to be used by autonomous agents. To put that into perspective, the original predictions estimated maybe 1,000 to 3,000 by this point in the year. We are already blowing right past the high end of those estimates, and the growth curve is just showing this massive, sustained expansion. We've officially moved from early adopter experiments to serious scaled deployment. And it's not just the skills themselves. We're seeing over 770 MCP servers out in the wild. If you're not familiar, think of these as the crucial digital bridges that securely connect AI agents to the outside world, like to specific databases or internal company tools. This is essentially the connectivity layer of the entire ecosystem. And as we'll get into a bit later, this specific number might literally represent the single most important strategic advantage for enterprises operating today. Plus, the demand side is proving to be incredibly healthy. We're tracking over 120,000 monthly visitors hitting the primary directories. Why does that matter? Because it means this isn't just a temporary launch spike of curious developers playing with a new toy. This is real, sustained demand from actual businesses and everyday professionals who are eager to integrate these workflows right now. It completely proves there's a paying audience ready for these tools. When we actually sit down and grade Meyer's initial thesis against our current reality, it's pretty brilliant. 5 out of his 6 major calls hit the mark perfectly. The marketplace absolutely emerged, cross-agent portability actually works in practice, hosted access models are totally beating simple file sales, Anthropic decisively stayed out of the payments game, and highly specialized skills are wildly outselling generic ones. But there is one major caveat. His prediction that vendor lock-in would be light is really only a partial win. And that's due to a surprisingly messy reality we call surface fragmentation. Essentially, even within a single company's ecosystem, things aren't smoothly talking to each other. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, Platform Wars and Fragmentation, the messy middle. Right now, this ecosystem is deep in that awkward, fragmented phase. So while cross-agent portability is theoretically real, surface fragmentation inside Anthropic itself has complicated everything. Say you upload a skill to Claude on the web, it doesn't automatically sync to their API environment, and vice versa. That creates immense friction, and it's exactly that friction that has sparked a digital gold rush. We're seeing at least 5 major platforms fiercely fighting for dominance, each trying to solve a slightly different piece of the puzzle. You've got transactional purists like Agency offering a super clean economic model with an 80% revenue share for creators. Then there's Agent 37, acting almost like a gumroad for Claude, focusing entirely on hosted access infrastructure. On the flip side, you have massive discovery directories. CloudMarketplaces.com is pulling in huge traffic, LobeHub is making a play for cross-vendor integration, and SkillsAmp.com is leaning heavily into SEO. There's no clear winner yet, meaning creators have to be incredibly strategic about where they place their bets. Now, what's really interesting is the massive divide in monetization strategies. On one hand, you have the old model, simply selling the raw skill.smd file. You get a one-time payment and bam, the customer walks away with your entire source code. On the other hand, you have the hosted access model. Here, the customer pays for runtime. Your intellectual property stays safely locked up on your servers, and you generate recurring monthly revenue.
This is an absolute game changer for solo developers because margins on hosted access can hit 80%. You're building a sustainable software business, not just selling off your hard work for a quick buck.
In fact, the 2026 literature absolutely roasts the old way. Selling the raw file directly on a place like GitHub is now widely described as objectively a terrible business model. And it makes total sense, right? If you distribute your raw file like that, you're essentially handing over the keys to your house and your entire competitive advantage on the very first download. Hosted access is proving to be the only way this economy actually scales. But even with the right business model in place, you're still going to run into Section 3, the winner takes most economy, power laws and action. This whole ecosystem operates under extreme power laws. Within almost any given category, the top 5 to 10 skills are gobbling up anywhere from 60 to 80% of the total revenue. The long tail of creators, they're left fighting over the remaining scraps. So why is this happening? It comes down to a concept called the reliability premium. Buyers will gladly pay top dollar for a tool that works 99% of the time over a cheaper tool that fails 5% of the time, because in an enterprise environment, a 5% failure rate is catastrophic. Plus, the top platforms give these leading creators iteration tooling that lets them improve their skills based on real-world usage data way faster than anyone else, creating a lead that's basically insurmountable. So what actually manages to reach that elusive top tier? Specialized, domain-specific expertise. We're talking tools that perform complex AWS infrastructure audits or database migration auditing. Those are easily selling for $99 to nearly $500 a month. Conversely, what fails completely? Generic stuff. Generic code reviews, basic commit message generators. Look, if a standard developer can whip up the tool in a single afternoon, it commoditizes instantly. The big takeaway here? The market does not care how hard your code was to write. It pays exclusively for encoded, specialized judgment. Now, let's pivot a bit to Section 4, the Hidden MCP Ecosystem, the integration moat. Because while everyone's been totally fixated on the AI skills themselves, an unanticipated but completely critical parallel ecosystem has been quietly taking over.
Remember those MCP servers we mentioned earlier? Model Context Protocol. Think of these as the fundamental connectivity primitives of the whole AI ecosystem. While the skill dictates the actual workflow, the what to do, the MCP server provides the crucial bridge to the outside world. It handles the how to talk to this specific database or that specific API. And importantly, these servers travel with the skills. They're the invisible translators making all the magic happen.
Why is this such a big deal? Because for any CIOs or technical leaders tuning in, this is your secret weapon. Internal MCP servers are the enterprise integration moat. When you build proprietary internal MCP servers, you create an unbeatable competitive advantage. Suddenly, standard, off-the-shelf AI skills can interact with your company's unique data and legacy systems in a highly secure way. It's a deep integration that your competitors simply cannot replicate with off-the-shelf purchases.
All right, understanding all this theory is great, but let's bring it all together in Section 5, your strategic playbook, what to do this quarter. Here's exactly how you navigate this right now. If you're a creator, listen up. The land grab for broad, top-level categories is basically over. Stop trying to build the ultimate all-in-one marketing tool. Step 1, pick a very specific subdomain instead. Step 2, abandon file sales entirely. Target hosted access platforms so you can actually protect your intellectual property. And step 3, price your product based on the massive business outcomes it delivers. Again, think in the hundreds of dollars per month, not on how many lines of code it took you to write. The real value is in the execution. Now, if you're an enterprise buyer, your game plan looks a little different. First off, when you purchase skills, audit them strictly for production reliability, not for some massive laundry list of features. A narrow tool that always works is infinitely more valuable to your team. Next, get your engineering teams building those internal MCP servers immediately. That is your ultimate hedge against vendor lock-in. And finally, choose your deployment surface carefully. Pick between Claude Code, the API, or Claude on the web very deliberately so you don't get trapped by that internal surface friction we talked about earlier. Planning that architecture now is going to save you massive headaches later. So the marketplace has definitively arrived. But make no mistake, we are entering a massive consolidation phase over these next 2 years. The patterns of the early mobile app store are repeating themselves almost perfectly. So the real question you need to ask yourself today is this: who will capture the disproportionate value in the 2026 to 2028 consolidation phase? Is it going to be the platforms that integrate best, the creators who absolutely dominate a highly specialized niche, or the enterprises that build the deepest integration moats? Think about exactly where you fit into that puzzle. take action on the playbook, and I'll see you in the next explainer.